I came up with something that I thought you'd find interesting. I came up with the 10 sports commandments. I started ways, because I love sports, and I always kind of thought, like, listen, you can have your guy in sports. Sports is ultimately, it does kind of drive culture sometimes, and it is, at the end of the day, it's still trivial. It's entertainment, it's fun, it's an escape, but I'm just kind of tired of the way that people have talked about sports, the way it's presented on TV. I do think, back to what we had started earlier, I do think certain people are put on TV to kind of like make our youth, who may not have the father figures in their life, kind of look up and talk sports like those guys do. And then we don't understand that because we're in our 30s. You know, you're 40, right? Like it may not affect me and you, but how do we know how it's going to affect people who are like 25 now? You know, and those are a lot of people who are driving sports conversations now, like just in our world. And I've kind of come up with these like commandments, like I don't name them all, but like, I'm like, number one, you got to admit your bias up front and own it. Like, own what team you root for, own what player you root for. Because until you can do that, you can't judge anything else. Yeah. Your confirmation bias and cognitive dissonance is going to take over unless you like figure out who you're rooting for and why you're rooting for them. You know, even new school versus old school. Like me and you we'll have a sports conversation some days, and it's like we disagree, and it's like, yeah, it's because you're too old school. I'm like, I'm a blend. I love the old school. You know, I respect them, but I like, hey, some of these new school guys, we gotta watch out. You know, so like, you know, admit your biases, and then you look at the video and the game film. Then you look at, you know, impact on winning and your intangibles, all the little things, you know, all the leadership stuff. Then the numbers, but not just numbers, the right numbers, the numbers that you can actually like see, not some fancy formulas, not some one-off thing. And then like your consistency, your longevity, your team context. And then we could talk about how many rings you got, how many MVPs, your awards, you know, because I just look at it, the game itself. So just so you know, that's what I'm trying to like build that brand as well, because I believe that that's missing. And I think that making a dent in the sports conversation can help drive people to just be more rational about life. I don't know what you think about that, but
yes, great point. You know, and that goes down to all debating, I think, right? You know, people aren't taught how to do that. Like you said, I think that's a great idea, having the 10 sports commandments, but you know, that should be something that, you know, it could be like a lead magnet for you.
Yeah.
Because sports are great, because it does cause people to debate, you know, when they otherwise aren't debating much necessarily, a lot of people, or giving actual thought. But yeah, if they can get clarity on it, I think that's brilliant. And I think it could be a way, you know, I think debating should be taught from a young age. You know, like, they have debate clubs, but not many people do them.
Like the right way. Like we're talking LeBron James against Michael Jordan. Okay. Don't just go, oh, well, LeBron was 4-6 in the finals and played this many years, and Jordan was 6-0 in the finals. It's like, that's surface level. I would have gotten all these different like measures first. You know, I would talk about their teams, like what they do better on the court, leadership, their mindset. You know, like I have, again, you know, I'm no stranger to saying how I feel. I think that, you know, LeBron James didn't have the right father figures in his life early on, and I think it showed in a decision. I think it showed on the court. And I think once he locked into his zone in 2012, he had a game 6 against the Boston Celtics. He had this look in his eye. There's still memes about it now. He locked in, and for those next 10 years, those next like 8-9 years, he was the second best player of all time. He does have an argument against Michael Jordan. I would still give it to Jordan, but LeBron's mindset before then, when he was in his athletic prime, wasn't that of Jordan. So like, I would talk about it in a way like that, where it's like, you know, I got this here. My friend gave me this idea. I got a little gavel. All right. Talk about it like a court case. You know, you keep your lawyers equal. All right. Me and you are lawyers. All right. You're on team Jordan. I'm on team LeBron. I feel like a traitor. You know, keep us equal and have an impartial jury. Who's got the better case? Yeah. And sometimes there's no answer. You know, who's better, Steph Curry or Oscar Robertson? There's no answer, you know, and then people get mad about that. And again, it's trivial, but it's like, yo, it's just sports. How are you going to handle real conversations in life if you can't even, you know?
That's the problem with society now. Most people can't handle a real conversation. And yeah, there is. I mean, I asked you to one day. There is no final answer to it, but it's if your life is on the line, that's the easy way to me. Who are you taking in any of these?
Oh, that's one of my commandments.
Yeah, I mean that makes it pretty clear. Because I've had people tell me to LeBron, like my younger brother. All right, I give him the Space Jam scenario. Who you taking? Jordan. Well, then you can't tell me LeBron's better. If it came down, because at the end of the day, right, and whatever it is, if you're talking politics, whatever, it's about winning, right? It's about winning, and that's leadership, and that's, and then you have the cultural impact of these guys, right? Like MJ still, I think, outsells everybody by a mile with his brand. People that never obviously saw him play.
Yeah.
You talk about a culture, but yeah, it's really cool, man, how you can use sports for that.
Yeah. That's funny. I saw LeBron. I know we got a couple minutes left, but LeBron, I saw him wearing a jersey with Jordan's logo on it. I was like, Jordan would never do that. And the next day, I saw they announced LeBron's got a new line coming out. I was like, all right, he must have heard me.
Yeah. But it was different. I mean, imagine Jordan. It's just crazy. The impact he had then, and that was without social media and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes there's a beauty to that, like a beauty to like you're able to be a legend when you're always not in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Social media has kind of robbed athletes and a lot of us of that in a certain way because they would just do it behind the scenes.
Yeah. Should be some intrigue and fascination and mystery. Right. That's the problem a lot of these athletes make. Point case, LeBron, he's always got a mic and he's always saying stupid stuff that he's not educated about. And that's the problem is people just want to see you play, right?
Yep.
People want to see you play and what you do on the court. And so they get caught in the trap too. Like with the debate about athletes, they caught in the trap of debating about stuff that you said they don't have commandments. They don't know whys. Why do you feel that way? What are you thinking? Why do you think, this is the case? And they don't have intelligence. Like Kaepernick, right? He'll never get on and do a real debate or interview with somebody because he's not educated on any of the stuff he supposedly stands for.
Yeah. And I would give, and again, I have a lot of respect for Kaepernick, but I don't think he was the right man for that cause. That's not, I try to say like, listen, I'm a white man. I can't fully understand it, but if I was in that situation, I would go about it differently, and you're right. Anybody in politics and life, if you can't sit down and have a debate, just a nice, calm, civil debate, then I'm going to think that you don't have the right case. That you're going to take shots at me as a person because you don't agree with me or because I'm going counterculture against the narrative. Because that's another one of the things I stand on. It's like you go against the narrative and people take shots at you. Like, oh, you're even just sports. You're a fanboy. You're a stan. They're stealing Eminem's lyrics now. Like you're this, and it's like, no, I'm just giving you ideas.
Yeah, that's it, man.